move in a little bit, like to the board. Perfect.
I'm Chelsea Black.
I'm Lara Disick.
And I'm Maria Shetrich. And for our action plan project, we did Care for Christmas, and you will learn about what this project is today and how great of a success it was. The reason why we chose to do Care for Christmas was my sister attends the University of Dayton, and they have a similar event each year. It's called the Christmas on Campus. And coming to Alliance this year, I knew that I wanted to implement this at Mount Union, but I wasn't sure how. So this class, sort of opened up the perfect opportunity for me to create this with Alara and Chelsea. 16.9% of Alliance live in poverty, and many of these people have families and kids. And Christmas time is supposed to be a happy experience each year for each kid, and I'm sure we have all had great experiences for Christmas. So I wanted to give the kids of Alliance the same experience.
Some organizations that helped us out, we had a lot of volunteers and a lot of people that really stepped up, which was kind of a surprise because when we first started this program, this event, we were really nervous that we weren't going to have enough volunteers. We didn't know if we were going to have food. We didn't know if even kids would show up. But there were actually a lot of organizations that helped us out. The Alliance Food Pantry, Alliance for Children and Families, and the Navigators program sponsored by Synergy Alliance.
And Janelle Ream is the coordinator that we worked with the Navigators program. And those were just some organizations that have already been established to help the poverty in Alliance here. All right, so we implemented our project on Tuesday from 3:30 to approximately 7 with the children. We had over 80 participants come to Mount Union. They were bused from Northside Elementary School, and they participated in our different events. During the event, we had 4 different stations, and the kids were all split into different groups when they got here for registration. And then they had their teachers come, and they were in charge of each group. But the volunteers were at each station. The first station was in the alumni room, and it was caroling. So Abby did wonderful at this. She took the kids around, and along with, I think there was 4 other volunteers in that group around HPCC, and they sang different Christmas carols. And the kids seemed to really enjoy this station a lot. In the East Room, which was Station 2, which was where registration was, and then this is where the games were held, and Santa and Mrs. Claus were able to be here too, that was a lot of fun. Some of the games that the kids played were Santa May I instead of Mother May I, and Red Light, Green Light. And in Station 3, which was in campus grounds, the children made a reindeer craft out of a paper bag, and they also signed thank you cards for all the people who helped out with this event. Station 4 was also in campus grounds, and the children got to decorate Christmas cookies with different colored icing and sprinkles, and they ate them, which they loved that.
They were yummy too.
Yes. And we were fortunate to have ABI donate food, which was the pizza and cookies for all the kids. And Abby Honaker also helped us with the cost for the pizza as well. And also Emma helped us in the caroling as well. So thank you. Thank you.
Like we said, we had Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus, and we were kind of worried about that too because originally we were told that I think he was a junior or a senior was going to do it, and then at the last minute he was like, oh, I have class, I can't do it. So that kind of worried us because we told the kids Santa was going to be there. But luckily we had Nick Mock and Jessica Eicher to play Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus for us. So it was really nice.
Alright, so how were we successful? We've already talked to you guys about our schedule and kind of how we implemented our project itself. And then just to expand on it, the children experienced that evening of celebrating Christmas with us. They were able to do those activities and have that positive environment, even through the volunteers sharing those high spirits that they had with the children. And then those donations, we couldn't have done this without the assistance from the following people, including ABI, Abby Honaker, Robin Clow, with the room reservations to get HPCC as students. She was very gracious in allowing us to use those rooms, not really knowing what we were doing because this was the first year that we were enacting this project. And then Janelle Ream from the Navigators, and then all of our wonderful volunteers. Couldn't have done it without them. And this is just a picture of them playing games with Santa in the East Room, where we had registration first, and then they played games with him.
Something about this picture that was there's a little boy up in the red up there. When he first got there, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I definitely noticed it. He was like really like, didn't want to come play, didn't want to do anything, like kind of being disrespectful to everyone. And then like by the end, Maria and I were like joking around with him. He was like smiling, having a really good time. So it just kind of like, to me at least, it showed like if you really do spend time with kids, there's definitely a direct correlation with how they're going to act. And I mean, I saw it firsthand, like he was like really happy towards the end, and like we were like, make sure you behave, and he was like, oh, I will. So it was really cute.
They definitely become more comfortable with you as they spend more time with you. And this was, I think it was Duck Duck Goose, but they called it like Jingle Jingle Bells, and we tried to incorporate like Christmas into every game that we did. And these are some more pictures. They're playing Heads Up 7 Up over there because we realized this was one challenge we faced. We realized the cookies took like 2 minutes for them to do.
Like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So they had a half hour to kill.
So play those different games, and they had fun with it. They enjoyed it a lot, and they're making the craft to bring them right. And then down here, they're signing cards that we made for ABI and other organizations that helped us out.
And Alara and I gave the thank you card to the ABI lady, and she was so
like almost in tears. It was just like a big poster with like a bunch of like little kid signatures on it, and like all different colors. Like it was totally nothing like expensive or like elaborate, but like we gave it to her and she was like almost in tears. She was so thankful that we made her a thank you card.
Yeah, we couldn't be more thankful for what she did.
Yeah, it was really nice.
All right, and here they were with a couple of the kids making their crafts, their little reindeer crafts that they made.
The little boy up top ate like 2 bags of reindeer food, which is like oats and like glitter. He ate like 2 bags.
Edible glitter.
Yeah, edible glitter, but still.
Kids love the reindeer food.
You know, we're like, it's for reindeer, still eat it.
Alright, and then our biggest challenges, we probably touched on this already, but just working with the different people and their different schedules, and we had to work with so many different people. I mean, this was a huge project for 3 college students to work on, and it was just a wonderful experience, and we eventually made it work, but that was an initial struggle that we had. And then filling the time, like I said, with Heads Up 7 Up, you know, working on the spot, trying to come up with different things to do with them, because we don't want them sitting there doing nothing. But it's a great building block on the next years to come too as well.
Something we didn't mention too, if you look at our shirts, they say reindeers on them. We were like reindeers, but we're the Raiders, so we're the reindeers. And Gem Graphics actually, Abby Honaker gave us like, she was like, go talk to Gem Graphics, they do great jobs. And we were like, okay. So I sent her an email and I was like, here's what we're doing, something purple, something Mount Union, something with Christmas. She's like, all right, I got a design, come on in. And we're like, okay. So Maria and I went there, and she had like 3 different like little reindeers and all over it, and it was so cute. So and it turned out really nice, and a lot of people went home. So it's easy.
And it was important for us to like split up our roles. Like Alara worked with volunteers and also with Gem Graphics, and Maria and I kind of went with Janelle and met with her and just met with the people that we needed to. Just splitting up those roles really helped us to work through the whole project and the process.
It wasn't like all on one person.
Yeah.
Are there any questions? Lauren?
What are the plans for next year?
Well, I don't know about them, but I'm hoping to continue with it and do it. But next year I would like to open it to all the elementary schools and hopefully get a lot more volunteers. So I would really appreciate if you guys all would volunteer next year. I don't know.
And
I was thinking about like, if like Professor Kumar had his class next year, she could say like, here's something if you wanted to continue this change project, I guess, like have more students continue it. That way it's just continuously student ran. I guess that's another idea too.
And even expanding on the projects, because we saw they didn't take as much time. We tried to keep it simple for the first year, just expanding on those and having them do more fun things, more centered to their age, because, I mean, we created this not knowing their age until we found out from Janelle that they were 3rd to 5th graders, so it was good to know that, and we tried to adopt our projects to that, but just having a wider age range as well, and bringing more kids too.
It was important to have this year to see, you know, like what our challenges were and what worked and what didn't work. So that's why we kind of started with the Navigators program, and hopefully we're going to expand it to all the elementary schools, and the staff here at Mount Union, their kids too. And anybody will be welcome.
And even the University of Dayton, looking at their schedule, you can look at it online. It's really interesting seeing how they bring the community on and how they have a wonderful itinerary, so you can check it out sometime. But we have a video of them caroling. If you'd like to see it.
Abby, I think you're in this one.
No, Abby was so good at the carol.
You're fine.
Do you know if the sound's ready to go?
Should be.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glowed. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, oh, 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 Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, yippee! Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
And also, we were very fortunate to have Professor Kumler tell the Alliance Review about our event, and they showed up, and we had an article on the front page. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Which is really awesome and rewarding for us. So
You
it was
guys
a
have any
great
more
experience.
questions?
Other question?